Hello and welcome to Theos. My name is John Taylor, and today I will be going through the Theos How to Play tutorial. We will learn the basics of how Theos works as I take you through a complete game from start to finish. I will also share with you some basic tactics you can employ as you start your own journey to card game godliness. Theos is a 2 to 6 player game and can be played in either a pre-made, draft, or roster format. I will demo the 2-player pre-made format using the tutorial decks found at the back of the game manual. Player 1 will pilot the Demeter's Guidance deck, and Player 2 will pilot the Gaia's Wisdom deck. For the purposes of this demo, I will play as both players. First, we enter the start phase of Round 1. The board is empty. The Ascension die is set to 10. This die represents the number of points, or followers, a player needs on their cards to win the game. More on that later. Next, each player looks at their deck of 12 cards and chooses 7 cards to create their hand. They can choose any cards they want. In Theos, there is no such thing as luck of the draw. Be careful to hide your hand and deck from the other players at all times. For this demo, however, we will be able to see both players' cards. Player 1 has chosen these 7 cards. Player 2 has chosen these 7 cards. The start phase of Round 1 is finished. We now enter the play phase. The play phase consists of 7 turns. Each turn, all players will choose a card from their hand to play face down in front of them. Let's do so now. Once all players have played a card face down, they flip their played cards face up simultaneously. Next, we must resolve the played cards in speed order. Look at each card's speed value, denoted by the large number here. The card with the lower speed value resolves first. In this case, 2 is lower than 4, so Fortress resolves first. To resolve a card, we must first check the card's god symbol in the upper left. Every card is like a prayer to a certain god in the Greek pantheon. If the card's god is active, the prayer is answered and the card is accepted. Otherwise, the prayer is ignored and the card is rejected. The god symbol on Fortress is Gaia. Right now, no gods are active, so Fortress is rejected. When a card is rejected by the gods, it is destroyed. Turn it sideways. We aren't done yet. Note that the god symbol is in the shape of a triangle. Cards with a triangular god symbol are known as offering cards and serve a very special purpose. When an offering card is rejected by the gods, the god matching its god symbol becomes active. Place the Gaia god card in the center of the board to show that Gaia is now active. Fortress is resolved. Let's move on to Pilgrimage. Pilgrimage's god symbol is Demeter, who also is not active. Just like Fortress, Pilgrimage will be rejected and destroyed. Since Pilgrimage is an offering card, we will set Demeter to active. Pilgrimage is now resolved. Each player chooses which card from their hand to play next, and reveals. Palace is faster, since a speed of 4 is faster than a speed of 5. Let's resolve it. This time, Gaia is active, so Palace is accepted by the gods. Place it face up next to Fortress. This is also known as the raised position. That's all player 2 can do for now. Next, we resolve Elysium. Since Demeter is active, Elysium is also accepted. Place it face up next to Pilgrimage. Elysium doesn't do anything yet either. Both players are setting up. The players choose their turn 3 play and reveal. Nourish resolves first. Since Demeter is active, Nourish is accepted. Nourish has some instant abilities on it that resolve now. A card's instant abilities are marked by the straight arrow symbol and are resolved from top to bottom as soon as the card is accepted. Before we resolve the abilities, however, let's take a moment to go over card resolution in more detail. When it is time for a player to resolve the card they played, that player is known as the active player until the card resolution is complete. While a player is the active player, they make all decisions necessary for how card abilities are used. Many abilities are mandatory, however, and have no choices or limited choices. Now let's see what Nourish does. Its top ability resolves first. The top ability will add a number of followers to a card equal to the number of devoted cards the player currently has. Followers are denoted by sun symbols such as this one. Devoted is a keyword. A card is devoted whenever it has one or more followers on it. Since player 1 has no devoted cards at this time, the first ability will do nothing. We move on to the bottom ability. If the player has no devoted cards, add one follower to a card. Player 1 has no devoted cards, so they meet the condition. Player 1 can choose any card for the follower, provided the card is raised and resolved or resolving, and also provided that the card has not reached its max follower count. A card's max follower count is its number in the big sun symbol. This number represents the total number of followers the card may have on it at any time. Player 1, after considering all of this, chooses to add one follower to nourish itself. We grab a follower token from supply and place it on the card. Nourish is done resolving its abilities, but there is one more thing to do. Nourish is a power card as indicated by the circular god symbol. When a power card is accepted after its instant abilities have resolved, the player who played the power card may empower one of their other raised cards. When a card is empowered, it uses all of its power abilities denoted by the spiral symbol. Player 1 chooses to empower Elysium. Elysium's power ability resolves and adds 2 followers to itself. Good planning! Player 1's turn is now over. Player 2 now resolves Priestess. Priestess is also accepted, but it has no instant abilities. Instead, it has a triggered ability, as denoted by the circular arrow symbol. Triggered abilities are used automatically whenever their conditions are met, so long as the card is raised. For now, though, the ability does nothing. However, since Priestess is also a power card, player 2 may now empower one of their other cards. They choose to empower Palace. Palace uses its power ability to add one follower to itself. Palace also has a passive ability, denoted by the wave symbol. This is the fourth and final ability type. Passive abilities are always in effect so long as the card is raised. Palace's passive ability prevents its followers from being removed by the enemy. Palace is very protective. The players lock in their turn 4 cards and reveal. Player 1's card has a speed of 1 and resolves first. What a quick card! Since Gaia is active, Thwarted Prophecy is accepted. But what's this? Thwarted Prophecy is a betrayal card, as indicated by the X-shaped god symbol. Betrayal cards are the fastest cards in Theos, and reward a player for predicting their opponent. Let's find out how. Since Thwarted Prophecy is accepted, player 1 resolves its instant ability. The ability states that all other unresolved Gaia cards are destroyed. Uh-oh, player 2 has an unresolved Gaia card, Landslide. Player 1 predicted that this would happen, and the gods destroy Landslide. Since Landslide was destroyed, Thwarted Prophecy states that Gaia becomes passive. We denote this by flipping over the Gaia God card. Look, the God card now has Poseidon showing as active. Each God card in Theos is two-sided. Flipping a God card will always reveal the god on the other side. Since Landslide was destroyed, player 1 also now places 2 followers on a card of their choice. Player 1 realizes that the max follower count of their cards is rather low, so they choose Thwarted Prophecy itself. What a big play! Player 1 predicted that player 2 would try to play a Gaia card on that very turn, and played a gutsy Gaia Betrayal card. Player 1's turn is now finished. Unlike offering and power cards, betrayal cards have no additional effects when they are rejected or accepted. Since player 2's Landslide was destroyed, player 2 does not get to resolve it. Try to avoid getting betrayed. The players choose their turn 5 play and reveal. Scylla is faster and resolves first. This is a powerful offering card, but like most offering cards, it needs to be empowered before it can do anything. Blossom goes next. Blossom is accepted and uses its instant ability to raise the destroyed Fortress card. Turn the card upright to show this. Blossom then gets to empower the card it just raised. Fortress's power ability allows player 2 to migrate a follower to it. Migration allows a player to move followers from one card to another on the same team. In this case, player 2 moves a follower from Palace to Fortress. Finally, like all power cards, Blossom gets to empower a friendly card. That's 2 empowers in one turn. Player 2 empowers Palace and adds another follower. Next comes turn 6. River Styx is faster and resolves first. Since River Styx is a Hades card, it is rejected and destroyed. No Hades in sight. But wait! The triggered ability of Priestess now fires, since a friendly offering card was rejected. Player 2 adds 1 follower to Priestess. Next, remember that offering cards make their god active when they are rejected. Hades becomes active by flipping over the Demeter card. Next, Seed Festival resolves. At the start of the turn, everything looked great for player 1's play, but River Styx flipped the gods and Demeter is no longer active. Seed Festival is rejected. Since it is a power card, nothing else happens. This covers an important concept in Theos. Offering cards are always faster than power cards. Since offering cards control which gods are active, they determine the flow of the game. A well-timed offering card can stop a power card in its tracks, as we saw here. However, power cards are the key to earning followers. Power cards are risky, but rewarding. Now comes turn 7, the final turn of the round. Let's see what happens. Both players reveal a power card, and player 1 goes first with Flood. Flood's instant ability migrates all of the followers from one enemy card to other enemy cards. We've seen migrate in action before, but this time player 1 can use the ability aggressively. Player 1 notices that Fortress has a passive ability that prevents its followers from being stolen. Player 1 thus targets Fortress with Flood's ability and moves the follower to Priestess. Next, since Flood is a power card, player 1 empowers Scylla. Scylla can steal 2 followers from a power or betrayal card. Player 1 has Scylla steal 2 followers from Priestess. This was a strong combination with Flood. Well played! Player 2 goes next with Cerberus. Cerberus has 2 instant abilities. Remember that abilities must always be resolved from top to bottom in order. First, Cerberus may destroy a secluded card, either friendly or enemy. Secluded is a keyword that refers to a raised card with no followers on it. Player 2 chooses to destroy Flood. Next, Cerberus adds followers to itself equal to the number of destroyed cards player 2 has. Let's count. 1, 2. Player 2 places 2 followers on Cerberus. Next, as always, since Cerberus is an accepted power card, it can empower a friendly card. Player 2 empowers Fortress and moves 1 follower from Cerberus to Fortress for protection. With turn 7 now complete, we enter the end phase. Players look at the total number of followers they have on their cards. If a player has a total number of followers greater than or equal to the value on the Ascension die, here, and also has more followers than anyone else, they win the game. Player 1 has 7 followers, and player 2 only has 3. The number required this round is 10, so no one wins yet. We will play another round. Next is cleanup. The player with the most followers cleans up first. In the event of a follower tie, the player who played the faster final card cleans up first. During cleanup, a player must decide which cards, if any, to keep on the playing field and which cards to return to their deck for use in the next round. Player 1 decides to keep Elysium, Thwarted Prophecy, and Scylla out since those cards all gained lots of followers. They return all other cards to their deck. Note that any cards with followers that are returned to the deck forfeit their followers. Next, player 2 cleans up and decides to keep Fortress and Priestess. Player 2 returns all other cards to their deck. The end phase is over. We now go to round 2's start phase. The first thing we do is reduce the value on the Ascension die by 1. We will do this during each round start phase from here on out. As the count lowers, it becomes easier to get enough followers to win the game. We get one step closer to the inevitable finish. Note that the God cards do not reset. They stay just where we left them at the end of round 1. Next, as before, each player will choose a new hand of cards from their deck to play this round. However, this time, a player's hand size is 7 minus the number of cards they left on the playing field last round. Player 1 will make a hand of 4 cards, since 7 minus 3 is 4. Player 2 will make a hand of 5 cards, since 7 minus 2 is 5. The decision to leave cards on the playing field is not trivial. Every card you leave out is one fewer card you can play in the next round. The players have chosen these cards. Finally, once the hands are built, players determine how many cards are in the hand with the most cards. In this case, player 2 has the most cards at 5. All players with fewer cards than this now draw blank cards into their hand to match this number. Since player 1 only has 4 cards right now, they need to draw one blank card into their hand. Blank cards don't do anything, but players play them face down like any other card. Clever players could bluff with them. The start phase is now over, and we move into the play phase of round 2. Let's see what happens. The players choose and reveal their turn 1 play. 2 offering cards. Warfleet resolves first and is accepted. River Styx resolves next and is also accepted. Both players are setting up big plays later. Turn 2 rolls around. More offering cards. Uh-oh, this time there's a speed tie. Who goes first? In the event of a tie, the card with the lowest God speed value resolves first. A card's God speed is the little Roman numeral value next to the speed value. Pilgrimage has a God speed of 8, while Palace has a God speed of 10. Pilgrimage resolves first. Since it is rejected, Demeter flips active. Palace is also rejected, which triggers the Priestess ability. Priestess gains 1 follower. The rejection makes Gaia flip active, as usual. Turn 3 is next. Player 2 resolves first. The Demeter Betrayal card! Player 1 was too obvious with their setup the previous turn and now walks right into a trap. Player 2 destroys the Seed Festival, flips Demeter to Hades, and adds 2 followers to Fortress, where they'll be safe. With Seed Festival destroyed, Player 1 is finished. Payback can be harsh. Turn 4 starts. Earthquake first. Player 1 resolves the top ability and chooses to add 1 follower to Scylla, maxing it out. Player 1 next resolves the bottom ability. Enemies can't empower cards this turn. This will become relevant later. Finally, Player 1 empowers the Warfleet and steals 1 follower from Priestess. Looks like Cerberus is back for round 2. This time, Cerberus destroys Forbidden Feast with the top ability, since it can affect friendly or enemy cards. Now, when Cerberus resolves the bottom ability, Player 2 has 2 destroyed cards and places 2 followers on Cerberus. Cerberus would normally empower next, but Earthquake has prevented that. The turn ends. On turn 5, each player plays their final card. Player 1 reveals their blank card. Blank cards are resolved after everything else since they have no speed. Player 2 reveals Downfall. Downfall's instant ability removes followers from an enemy card equal to the number of destroyed cards the player has plus 1. In this case, Player 2 has 2 destroyed cards, so they can remove up to 3 followers from an enemy card. Player 2 decides that Scylla is the biggest threat and removes all 3 followers from it. The second part of Downfall's ability allows Player 2 to destroy a secluded enemy card. Scylla is now vulnerable, so Player 2 destroys it. Next, Player 2 empowers River Styx. Player 2 uses the power ability of River Styx to destroy a friendly card, in this case Downfall, and gain 2 followers on River Styx. Truly a double-edged sword. Player 1 now resolves their blank card. It doesn't do anything, so it is returned to the bag. Round 2's play phase is now over. Player 2 made quite the comeback. We check the win condition and see that Player 1 only has 5 followers now, while Player 2 has 7. Still, they need 9 followers to win, so no victor just yet. We enter cleanup. Player 2 has more followers this time, so Player 2 cleans up first. Player 2 earned a lot of followers and wants to keep them, so they keep out Fortress, River Styx, and Cerberus. In contrast, Player 1 has decided that keeping out 3 cards in a round is a bad idea, so they take back everything but Elysium. They lost 3 followers to do this, but they have big plans for the next round. Cleanup is over, and we move into round 3. At the start phase, we move the Ascension die down once more. Players only need 8 followers to win, and Player 2 already has 7. This will surely be the decisive round. Both players build their hands. This time around, Player 1 builds a hand of 6 cards, and Player 2 builds a hand of 4 cards. As before, the player with fewer cards in hand draws blanks to make up the difference. Player 2 draws 2 blanks to get their hand to match Player 1's count. Let's begin the play phase with turn 1. Player 2 starts with Eurynomos. As a Hades offering card, it is accepted and finishes resolving. Player 1 starts with Hurricane. This card was doomed to rejection since Poseidon is not active. The turn looks like a waste for Player 1. What are they scheming? Turn 2 begins. Both players set up with offering cards. Servant of Atlas goes first and is accepted. Player 1 then rejects Pilgrimage and flips Demeter to active. Now for turn 3. Player 1 resolves first with a fast offering card, Rite of Renewal. And look! This is one of the few offering cards with an instant ability. Player 1 resolves it by raising the destroyed Pilgrimage card. They're now done. Player 2 resolves his first blank by removing it from the board. Let's see the turn 4 cards. Player 1 goes first with Seed Festival. Seed Festival is accepted, and Player 1 uses its instant ability to migrate followers from Elysium onto itself. Elysium is now open to gain followers once more. Player 1 then empowers Elysium, which gains back its 2 followers. Player 2 goes next and resolves Ichor of Oranos. It is accepted. Player 2 uses the card's instant ability to add 1 follower to up to 2 different friendly cards with triggered or passive abilities. They only have 1 raised card that meets that criteria at the moment, so they add 1 follower to Fortress. Next, they empower Servant of Atlas. Since Servant of Atlas has 2 power abilities, when empowered, we resolve both abilities one at a time from top to bottom, just like with instant abilities. Player 2 uses the first ability to add 1 follower to Eurynomos. The second ability is optional. It allows Player 2 to empower another friendly card at the cost of destroying the Servant of Atlas. Player 2 chooses to use it and empowers Eurynomos, destroying the servant in the process. Player 2 now uses the power ability of Eurynomos to remove 1 follower from Elysium. Turn 3 is now done. And what's this? Player 2 has 9 followers. However, they haven't won yet. We only check for a winner at the end phase of each round. Player 1 still has a chance to make a comeback. Turn 5 is next. Player 1 goes first again with another big power card. This time, Nourish is back, but it's better than before. Player 1 uses its top ability to add 2 followers to Pilgrimage, since they have 2 devoted cards. Next, Player 1 empowers Pilgrimage to migrate 1 follower from Elysium to itself. Pilgrimage then allows another empower, which Player 1 uses on Elysium to get back its 2 followers. Pilgrimage can set up strong combos when used well. Player 2 just has to sit and watch since they played their other blank card. It is removed from play. Turn 6 starts, and both players play their final card. It all comes down to this. Player 2 goes first with the faster landslide, which is accepted. Landslide allows player 2 to pick up a resolved friendly offering card, then resolve one immediately after. Player 2 scoops up and replays Servant of Atlas, which of course is accepted. Now player 2 empowers Servant of Atlas since it's back to being raised. Player 2 uses the Servant's top ability to add one follower to Yuri Nomos, then uses the bottom ability to empower River Styx and destroy the Servant. We've seen how River Styx worked before. Player 2 uses its power ability to destroy Landslide and add one more follower to itself. Finally, at last, player 2 is finished with their part of the turn. What a combo! They are sitting pretty at 11 followers, more than enough to win. Meanwhile, player 1 only has 7 followers. Can their final card make any difference? Player 1 has been waiting for this moment. Resurrect is accepted. Its instant ability raises another card and activates that card's instant abilities, if any. Player 1 chooses to raise the destroyed Hurricane, played back in turn 1, and uses Hurricane's instant ability. The ability steals one follower from a number of cards equal to the number of other power cards, not counting Hurricane, that player 1 has played. This number is 3 because of Seed Festival, Nourish, and Resurrect. However, Hurricane can only steal up to 2 followers since its max is 2. Thus, player 1 has Hurricane steal 1 follower from both River Styx and Yuri Nomos. Finally, player 1 empowers Right of Renewal and adds 1 follower to it. With that, player 1 is finished and the final turn of the round is over. Let's see the results. We enter the round 3 end phase. We check for a winner. Player 1 now has 10 followers and player 2 has 9. Player 1's final play was a big one, a 5-follower swing. Player 1 has enough followers to win since the Ascension die says 8 followers. Player 1 is declared the winner. Note that if both players were tied, another round would be played. This time, the winner was player 1. They may have been behind near the end, but a well-timed combination of abilities allowed them to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. In a game of Theos, you always have a chance with good plays and good reads on the opponent. We have now completed the tutorial and have covered all the cards in the tutorial decks. Once you become familiar with the tutorial decks, feel free to branch out. There are 60 unique cards in this first set of Theos, with more expansions to come. There's plenty yet to discover. To that end, please refer to the game manual for exact rules on everything that happened in the tutorial, as well as instructions on how to play the draft or roster formats. Thank you for watching, and may your Theos fun be the stuff of legend.